The physics is point to point. There's no time and space. It's point to point. Hi there, this is Solaris, and today we have a video for you on the difference between physics of the third and the fourth dimension and the fifth dimension and higher. I went through a discussion with my friend Alex Clark, whose voice is on the video that you'll see, and she asked me a question about how these galactic light ships or cloud ships, how do they come into our atmosphere? And what she asked was, they must need an incredible amount of force to shift from the dimension, the higher dimension that they're at, into our atmosphere. And I answered that question for her and explained how force wasn't needed. That's not the physics that they use. So I'll just show you a couple pictures to show you what we're going to be talking about. In this photo, I explain the physics of the force in the third and the fourth dimensions, and how movement works through force. And then she asked me, how does something like this is what I like to call a tube ship. It's clearly got a pretty good solid form. You can see the cloud layer sort of moving away around it, almost makes there's almost an energetic buffer around it. So you can see that it's manifested or come into our airspace. And how does it do that? The specific ship that we're looking at is, in this discussion, is this one, this is an Arcturian energy and Lightship. So it's so fascinating because you can actually see how it has entered. It's sort of come in and it leaves this trail behind it of energy. And this is most people would look at this and view this as a cloud. It's not a typical design for a UFO or a Lightship. It doesn't look like a oval or a square or a rectangle or a triangle. It's a very fluid and form that is in flux as it enters into our dimension. That's not to say that when fully present, it couldn't shift into a more recognizable shape as it sort of solidifies in this dimension. But this is the Lightship that we're going to be referring to, and I just wanted to show you this. And it's just so fascinating to me how you have this this sort of awake in the sky dimensionally. You can sort of see the flux in the atmosphere that has occurred as this frequency has come in and landed into and is in our atmosphere. Okay, let's press go and listen in on the discussion.
I can't remember the name of the show, like Ghost Hunters or something, and they'll have an experience, and they always talk about the fact that it takes a tremendous amount of experience and energy from the etheric in order to break through into the physical realms. So they use certain activators, and they try and get these beings to have strong emotions, and then it seems like things will move or whatever. I don't know if it works the same way, but you're saying, for them to come down into 7D and actually create a cloud ship even is a tremendous amount of energy, because you need to push.
No, it's different.
But you just said that, so explain it to me then.
I wasn't talking about the same thing. So what you're talking about is force right now. So what you're talking about right now is the third and fourth dimensional physics, where you have a fourth dimensional entity, which is the ghost or the non-physical being, using the physics of the fourth dimension which would be force, to create an effect in the third dimension in which force works, because the physics works there. So in the higher dimensions, it's different. So wait, what was the example that I said that you're comparing?
Well, you were saying that you took that picture of an Arcturian ship.
Yeah.
And you could see the dimensional levels exist. Yeah. You've shown me some other ships that were much more formed, and I think that those races, for lack of a better term, have more experience, and maybe are in this dimension more, so therefore you've seen them more, or have more, or they have more experience manifesting in this realm. And now, because our vibration has gone up and the whole planet's vibration via the Schumann resonance or whatever has gone up, that we're going to start seeing more extremely higher dimensional ships and beings interacting within the sphere of this realm.
So it's a key difference, and it's a huge difference. So the way that this manifested into this realm is different than what you were just talking about. This is not done through force.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really important, because it could not manifest through force, because in the dimensional realm that they are from, force doesn't exist. Force only exists in the third and fourth dimensions. Mm-hmm. So basically, this manifests. Hold on a sec. This manifests through joy and love. Okay, I know that sounds that doesn't sound like a science thing, but...
No, but there is a science thing. It's through resonance. I was waiting for that word to come out of your mouth.
It's resonance, and not only that, but it's resonance, but it's not just... It's resonance with everything. It's like resonance with the environment, resonance with the sky, resonance with the elementals who exist in the sky in higher dimensions, the cloud material. It's resonance with Gaia. It's resonance with the humans who are viewing it. It's so all of that is like, love is actually the actual force in the universe that creates movement. And it's, in our world, we think it's this thing called force, because if I take this bracelet and I want to move it over there, I have to throw it, which requires force, right? That effect of the bracelet moving over, that's the force, right? Creating movement. But in the higher realms, I can use my heart to move it. Now, for the realms of where spirits and ghosts, like you're talking about on Ghost Hunters, this is fourth dimensional. So the physics there is the same as the physics in the physical world. It's a non-physical complement to our physical world. Now, and it's a dual environment. It's a dual environment where you have negative and positive. Okay, and negative and positive interacts together in magnetism. It interacts together in electricity, how electricity works. So when you move to the fifth dimensional realm and higher, the fifth dimensional realms and higher are non-dual. So there is no positive and negative. There is no right, wrong, good, bad, because it's all in its wholeness. It's like the yin-yang symbol it exists in its wholeness. Like on the planet, we think of ourselves as being, we're good or we're bad. We think of ourselves as, that's the separation. So,
and in the higher dimensions, we become everything all at once. So you can move the bracelet, and the way you do it is you be the bracelet.
Yeah.
And the bracelet
Yes.
can then be repositioned, because you have the ability to control quanta at that level. And I don't mean it in a service to self, service to others sort of way, but when you have that field where everything is one, your perception could be any point in the field. You could be the bracelet.
Yes. Okay, so there's that. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is that fifth dimensional technology and physics is that our technology is conscious. So if I want this to move, okay, and these are Larimar crystals. So these are a high frequency crystal. So it's perfect for this. If I want this to move in a higher dimension, I am making a request of the consciousness of this crystal. So I'm honoring its consciousness, and I'm asking to work together with it. See how there's no force involved with that? We're doing it together.
Yeah.
The crystal chooses to move on its own.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the crystal moves. So the physics is point to point. There's no time and space. It's point to point. So I have a resonance with the crystal or anything else that I want to move in the fifth dimension. We're all one, like you were saying. That's what's point to point. My love for this crystal is partly because I resonate so much with it, because I am it. We are one. So my feeling and thought in my heart and soul is the same feeling and thought that it's having. Therefore, and I feel that when I feel that, that doesn't travel across time and space to this crystal. It comes from within inside the heart and soul of this consciousness. Yeah. So I feel it here. It feels it there. It moves just like the ship. See, that's how the ship manifests in dimensional frequency. It's one with the elements in the atmosphere. So when it's manifesting, it's doing two things. It's having fun. It's working with the elements. It's showing humanity the higher frequencies. Could all this happen with no clouds? Absolutely. But then the human beings that we are, we wouldn't get to look up to the sky and say, hey, what's that? And have a mechanism to shift our consciousness.
Yeah. And as one being who's one with the water elemental and the air elemental as well, when you talk about that service, there's a different service existence within duality, where it is a give and take situation. But in the higher dimensions, we're all in service, because that's all of what we are. And so, of course, the water and the air elementals are going to want to interact with this higher energy, and they like to play too. So, they're like, bring it on, yay!
It's hard to imagine the level of, of joy, happiness, like, how you feel so good when you do something, like to feel that way all the time. Could you even imagine that?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
This is Solaris. Thanks for watching today. If you would like and subscribe, that'd be awesome. It's been so great hanging out with you. And come on over to the blog at solarismodalis.com.